Hi guys, so who better to speak about Scottish independence, the SNP and Nicola Sturgeon than three English Tories or ex-Tories or Brexiteers or ex-Brexiteers, I don't know what they are. So here we have right-wing talk radio speaking to Anne Widdecombe, who's a former member of the European Parliament for the Brexit Party and a former Conservative MP, about Scottish independence and Nicola Sturgeon. Now, there's a claim that Nicola Sturgeon's days are numbered. So let's hear what she had to say about that.
And you mentioned borders there quite a while, and we've been discussing it with Alex and I over the course of the show, what's going on north of our border with Scotland, and the box office appearance yesterday by Alex Salmond, who, to be honest with you, was just toy. It just showed, for me anyway, it showed a gulf in class, you know, between Alex Salmond, frankly, and the current crop of those Scottish politicians.
Where did this sudden love for Alex Salmond come from? Is it because he's attacking the SNP? Now, I think he's doing it because he has an axe to grind. He feels left aside. I think it's sour grapes. It's jealousy, actually, because the SNP have made leaps and bounds since he left as its leader, since Nicola Sturgeon took over, and he is seeing the possibility of independence coming and him not being part of that. That's my take on it. I don't think that's professional. I think it's petty. But let's continue.
Do you think that this is the beginning of the end now for Nicola Sturgeon? Are her days numbered, and with it potentially Scottish independence?
I think Nicola Sturgeon's days have been numbered since the moment that Brexit did not go wrong.
Okay, we have the ghost of Christmas past here. Since Brexit didn't go wrong. But I thought Brexit had gone wrong because of Boris Johnson's deal. Anne Widdecombe has been saying that Brexit has not been going right because of Boris Johnson's trade deal. We wanted a clean break Brexit. We didn't want a border around the Irish Sea in Northern Ireland. We're not going to tell you where we wanted to put it, but Brexit was not the Brexit. This isn't the Brexit that we voted for. So how can Brexit be perfect and imperfect at the same time? Or is this just Brexiteer logic?
The fact is that if she had had her way, we would now be in the EU vaccination programme.
There was no requirement of Brexit for Brexit to use Brexit in order to not be part of that programme. There was no requirement. That lie, that hoax has been debunked. But the Brexiteers continue to pump it. And not just Brexiteers, the public have been fed this, and the public seem to think it's true. And it's not true. It was never a requirement of Brexit. But we're going to continue to hear this until probably it gets to a stage where maybe the European Union exceeds the UK, and then this argument is going to disappear.
Instead of running our own hugely successful one. So you've got to ask everybody in Scotland who's had the vaccine, would you actually rather be in the EU, or would you rather be in the UK and having the vaccine? And I think that's going to make a huge difference.
Even if that were true, let's give her this. Even if it's not true, but let's say it were true, okay? That's enough for the independence people to go, okay. So on the one side we have a vaccine. Once again, this is not true, but let's say if it were true. On the one side we have the vaccine, and on the other side, what do we have? Well, we have businesses closing. We have Boris Johnson in charge. We have a future which is in doubt. Many businesses fishermen, for example, are not able to export their fish because of Brexit. What sort of future is there for young people? They've lost freedom of movement. Many young Scottish people who'd say, look, I'd like to be able to travel to other parts of Europe in order to study or to gain work experience, and then maybe come back and start a business or get a better job, for example, because I have gained experience on the continent. And then I can't do that any longer, or I can, but it's much more difficult. So that's on one side. And on the other side, you have a vaccine that is ahead of the European Union at the moment. Okay.
I think were there ever to be another referendum, and I hope there won't be one soon because we said it was settled for a generation.
I honestly think this clip, we have settled it for a generation. The SNP, or anyone who's in the independence movement who's listening to this, should take that clip and repeat it ad nauseum. We have settled it for a generation. An English Brexiteer, a former member of the Conservative Party, is telling the Scottish people, we have settled it for a generation. Not you have settled it for a generation. Even though the generation thing is just something that Alex Salmond had said was not part of any manifesto. Even if it was part of a manifesto changes, but I've talked about that in the past. But we have settled it for a generation. The Brexiteers have settled it, is it? Or is it the Conservative Party that has settled it? Or is it the English that have settled it? And this is no offense to the English people. I'm talking about the English Tories here. They have settled it for a generation. So the Scottish people, look, you just need to shut up. It's been settled for you. Can you imagine if the European Union had said to Anne Widdecombe, no, you're not getting a referendum because we've settled it for you. We've decided that you're not leaving. How would she feel about that? Would she say, oh, okay, yeah, thank you very much. You are our betters, so we have to refer to you. The arrogance here, it's dripping with arrogance. But this is typical Brexiteer and this is typical Tory. She's so inside the Tory Brexiteer bubble, she doesn't understand how offensive that would be to Scottish people. Or maybe I'm misunderstanding something here.
But were there ever to be another referendum, I think the economics facts speak for themselves as they spoke last time. I mean, what are they going to trade in? What is going to be the currency there? Last time the Bank of England said no to the pound, Europe said no to the euro. Well, what are they going to trade in? Wee drams or something? You know.
What are they going to trade in? Wee drams? I'm not sure. I didn't understand what she meant there. Although I don't think it's necessary to understand. It sounded quite condescending. What are you going to trade in? Trinkets or something? In haggises or something? If Scotland has many different ways to deal with the currency, they could tag their currency to the pound, they could tag their currency to the euro, they could create their own currency, they could start using euros if they wanted. There's no requirement. For example, US dollars can be used by countries that are not the United States. It's been happening for generations. So it's not beyond the realm of possibility for the Scottish and independent Scotland to use another currency. I think there are different merits and drawbacks regarding different currencies, but that's not really an argument against independence.
Yeah. I know one other topic that Anne and I have debated.
Okay, and then they start talking about something else. But isn't it a little bit arrogant where you have three English people telling the Scottish people, we have settled it for you? There's no need for you to have another referendum because it was settled by us for a generation. We have settled it. I don't remember Anne Widdecombe voting in the Scottish independence referendum. Or did she? Did she sneak across the border and vote no? I don't know. Maybe she's talking about herself here, but I don't think that's the case. I think this is another example of perhaps why the Scottish people need to be independent. You have these right-wing Tories and right-wing Brexiteers telling them, you don't deserve a referendum, or we've already settled it. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot. I want to say a big thank you to all of my patrons. You ensure that this channel continues to exist. I'm eternally grateful for all of your support. If you join Patreon, you will receive instant access to our Discord server, where we have both audio and video chats. You can chat with me and other patrons where we discuss important and non-important issues. Becoming a patron per month costs about the same as a large coffee, so why not check it out?